Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So we saw a temporary top with some big gap up opens to all-time highs. We reached a point in the short term where there was nobody left to buy and it was only profit taking and short sellers through the morning. And then of course the bulls show up and buy the dip. We'll see where our sectors stand. We'll talk about sell in May and go away. Is that a thing? Is the market about to drop? Let's see. So let's start it off here with sell in May and go away. First things first, in my opinion, if you are making financial decisions based off of a nursery rhyme, you're probably not playing the game the right way. So that's my opinion on the matter. Otherwise, sell in May and go away. What does it mean? Looking back historically over the last 60, however many years, you have a 6-month period of May to November, and you have the other 6 months. The other 6 months, on average, outperform May through November. That's a fact. But May through November still goes up on average. So it goes up maybe 2 point some percent compared to 6 point some percent in the other 6 months. So it doesn't mean we drop historically over the summer. It just means that the bulls are more successful with gains in the other 6 months. So what I'm watching in the short term is looking back over the last 3 years, and should have had it up in front of me, but if we look back at 2020 from the last day or two in April to the first few days in May, we dropped 5%. If you look back in 2019, from May 1st to May 13th, and again, I might be off by a couple days, but we dropped 5%. Back to 2018, April 29th to May 3rd, we dropped 3%. So that's 3 years in a row where between the last couple days of April or the first day of May and the first couple days of May or the first couple weeks of May, we dropped 3 to 5%, 3 years in a row. So I would not be surprised in the slightest for a bit of a drop heading into May. It's worth watching for, but again, I personally am not going to be making any investment or swing trading decisions based off of the nursery rhyme. If I'm going to be making any decisions, it's going to be, hey, we're a bit extended. I'm not comfortable as a bull right now, and I would rather enter on weekly consolidation. And if that's the case, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. We've had a green about to be 6 weeks in a row, depending on tomorrow, and we could be due for weekly consolidation. We generally do not see a period much longer than what we already have before we start looking for a weekly higher low to form. So that certainly makes sense. What we saw today was a gap up open to all-time highs and significant profit taking, but no bear follow through. So we are looking at our line in the sand, 410.59, still holding. This is the highest close that the S&P 500 has ever seen. And if we look at the S&P 500 futures chart, 4-hour time frame, we lost the higher lows, but a V-shaped recovery. Hourly equilibrium into tonight is on watch. High, low, failed to break the high here, and if we pull back overnight, we'll watch for an hourly higher low. So if this gives us a clear hourly equilibrium into tomorrow morning, this is going to be the most important chart for me as far as the short term is concerned. I personally am getting a bit more cautious as a bull for the reasons that I just shared, and that means potentially building a little bit more of a bearish position, trimming some long positions, and constantly fluctuating the lean that I have, which right now is fairly flat. QQQ. I did not exit my SQQQ position that I've had for, I don't know how long at this point, a while. And I had the double top as the reason I was still in it, but we opened above that level and then instantly pulled back under it. So it didn't really take long for me to decide that is not a convincing break. I'm going to stick in that position for now. Hourly time frame on QQQ, solid bounce, over a 60% retracement from the low of the day, but we have to see how this hourly range plays out. We're anticipating a tightening hourly range. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this potential equilibrium, depending on what overnight does. After hours here, we've got Amazon beating. So Amazon is at all, I think that's all-time highs. Previous all-time high, 35.52. So yeah, we hit all-time highs in extended hours. We'll see if the bulls can hold on to those gains, giving some of it back, but looking for a 5-minute higher low here. So that certainly helps the tech sector bulls. It's notable to me that we have the S&P 500 at all-time highs when the second most important sector, the healthcare sector, has consolidated 4 days in a row. 4 red days in a row. Second largest holding in SPY and SPY is at all-time highs. That's a good sign for the bulls, and it's because of XLF. There was a point today where it looked like we were on the verge of all three of our major sectors dropping to the low of the day at the same time, and at that point in time, QQQ saved the day because we were literally right about to see that happen at 10:45, and we double bottomed and then saw a bounce, and then by the time we did see a new low of the day right before noon, XLF was comfortable above its low of the day at that point. I guess not comfortable, but we didn't break the low of the day. So it was a scenario where XLF and XLV, low of the day, QQQ holds it and starts a bounce. Then QQQ rolls over, XLF holds it. It's a perfect example of just this tag team nature that these sectors have been undergoing to keep the broader market strong. And if we're going to see fear, all major sectors have to hit the lows at the same time. Healthcare, watching for a daily high or low sometime in the next few days. Hourly time frame has to set up a trend change back to the bulls. It's a clear hourly downtrend with clear hourly EMA 12 resistance. Let's just get rid of extended hours. Very clear. On the current bounce, we're scouting an hourly lower high. And tomorrow and into Monday, the question is, can the bulls shape up an hourly trend change to set the daily high or low? And maybe give the XLF bulls a breather to pull back into daily consolidation. Biotech sector, triple top, 140.88. And the past 3 days, we've gotten within 12 cents of that level 3 times. Daily consolidation still looks fine overall. And again, my criteria was I want to see these EMAs hold and see a bull cross of those levels. And we are still holding. So can the bulls change the hourly trend back in their favor for a daily high or low to shape up? Because we have to confirm a daily trend change, which we have not done yet on the biotech sector since the all-time high. SMH, so drop today, pretty much a double top with the high of yesterday first thing, but bulls buying that dip need the hourly trend change back in favor of the bulls for the daily high or low to be shaping up. So hourly charts on all these names with a wide range today because of the size of the drop and the size of the bounce. This hourly range into the weekend tomorrow is going to give us a lot of information. Do we confirm hourly trend changes and bounce follow through? Do we break bearish and confirm hourly downtrends? Size of the bounces on most names are scouting hourly high or lows, at least initially, keeping in mind that it's possible to set an hourly high or low, but then eventually break bearish. So hourly time frame for clarity into the weekend. TAN, looking for a daily high or low compared to 80.98, but the bulls have to change the hourly trend back in their favor, and this tightening range that has been playing out for 6+ weeks is not going to see a resolution in the near term here. It's going to take at least a few days because we can easily hold 80.98 and bounce to another lower high. Next thing you know, we're at the end of next week and we still have not broken. That's a possibility. Very tight. MSOS, 7 days in a row with a higher low every day. It looks like that pattern might break tomorrow as we closed at the low. And just like the biotech sector, we will have to see a confirmed daily trend change for the first time since all-time highs if we're going to see any kind of notable shift in momentum. As I said yesterday, I am starting to get interested in some individual names for their earnings, but very small positions. Just getting some skin back in the game after being on the sideline for weeks at this point for a sector that I am still paying close attention to. The VIX, bull break of this tight range, bull break of the high of the last 4 days. Why did we not see any follow through? Because we did not see all major sectors drop to the lows at the same time. That's why we have a big upper wick. So still watching 1670 and 1990 as this range that we are still within. This now makes 8 days within that range. The dollar. So the daily downtrend is our guide on the dollar. We'll say anything under 91.13 is just a daily lower high. The bears have been keeping their complete control, and nothing's changed here with that regard. Metals are getting real choppy. FOMC reaction often makes it choppy, so it's not surprising. I look at the weekly chart, and gold is looking for a weekly higher low. We lost the pattern of a higher low every week, so we're looking for a pivot higher low. But when I see this lack of clarity, I try and find something that stands out as clear for me. So on the 4-hour time frame, this is the pattern that I am watching on gold until it breaks. Just that little channel right there. That's where I find clarity, because the daily chart does not give me clarity. And silver has one as well. Silver not as choppy, but definitely a very wide range today. If we go to the hourly chart on silver, nice bounce off the lows, big flush. And actually, let's go to the 4-hour. So 4-hour on silver, I'm looking at this tightening pattern. So again, this, I'm not making any trades based off of these lines. This just helps me visually organize what I'm watching for in the short term. It'll be clear to me when we bull break or bear break these 4-hour ranges. Miners, still no daily high or low being set. Hourly downtrend is our guide. Lower high every day for the past bunch of days. And that pattern has to break. So 6 days in a row, lower high every day. If the bulls do not break 35.12, that will remain the case. Bulls are hoping today is a bit of a volume climax, but we will be scouting a daily lower high when we do see this bounce begin. Oil followed through for the bulls. The double bottom just completely shifted momentum, and the bulls have not looked back since. We're looking up at 66.15 and 67.29 as the only resistances in play. The weekly time frame is remaining very healthy. No red flags for the bulls. Nice save of support. Natural gas daily consolidation underway. Tons of space for a higher low. EMA 12 will come into play over the next couple of days if we keep pulling back, and it'll be up to the bulls to regain the 4-hour trend in their favor if a daily higher low is going to be established. So no red flags on this daily chart as long as those higher lows remain intact. So that's where we stand overall. Again, I'm cautious up at these levels because all I got to do is look at the S&P 500. Let's go to SPY. Just got to look at SPY's weekly chart and say, okay, high or low every week for the last 5 weeks at this point. And I look back historically and say, how many times have we seen this pattern continue significantly from 5 weeks? And the answer is, it definitely happens. But again, we're talking risk reward. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 happened back in one of the major legs up last summer from the COVID bounce. But again, just being cautious. I'm not going bearish. I am shifting things so that if we were to drop, I would be A-okay and wouldn't give back profits. But other than that, taking it one day at a time and definitely keeping a bullish lean until bears prove something to me. So I am a bull in the broader market as long as we keep seeing this rotation, as long as we don't see all major sectors dropping to the low at the same time. We're going to continue playing the rotation game as long as that is the case. Daily EMA 12 is a great short-term guide on SPY. That's been holding for the last month plus. And again, I'm not here looking for reasons to be bearish. I can definitely see reasons to be cautious, but there is no reason to be looking aggressively bearish because the bears will say, hey, here I am. Big bear volume, all major sectors at the low of the day at the same time. And again, it's something I've said in the past videos. Once you know that that's what you're looking for SPY to see any notable bear follow through, bears don't sneak up on you. They are very clear and obvious when they are present. So in the absence of those signals, I keep a bull lean. Have a good rest of your day. Do good things. I didn't do a whole lot of trading today. I don't know if I did any. I placed a couple little small trades. I am still keeping an eye on GME. Daily inside bar today. Trying to set a daily high or low. If the inside bar breaks bullish, I like this 4-hour nice little tight equilibrium. So possible we get a leg up tomorrow if the inside bar can break bull. Something I'm keeping an eye on. Other than that, MNMD exited this morning at 479. Why did I exit? We broke key resistance. Well, we didn't get follow through. We opened above key resistance, and this is how long it takes for me to make a decision. Not this long. So we start with a gap up open, we break resistance. Great, good sign for the bulls. But we instantly start pulling back. And I was just watching the first 2 minutes. And in the first 2 minutes, we hit a little low and we started a very weak bounce. And I put my stop under that low and I put it at 479. And I stopped out. And then the bears controlled the rest of the day. Why did I stop out? Because again, we broke resistance on a gap up. We did not break resistance during regular trading hours, which makes me cautious, which makes me say, okay, bulls, prove it during regular trading hours, which they did not do. And then it's just me wanting to preserve my gains and not caring if it keeps going up without me. That's such a key aspect where I don't have that FOMO and I would gladly lock in profit, because if I were sitting here saying, oh, I don't want to miss a break of $5 right now, I would have given back a big chunk of profit. Very quick to bail on trades. I am not in love with any of them. 5-minute falling wedge, if we had more time in the day, I definitely would have been scouting a bull entry. Just with these bear breaks lacking follow through here. So normally I would want to include that price action as well, but really just looking at this. So where does that mean we stand bigger picture? If we see a bear break of the low day of today, tomorrow, daily consolidation underway to scout a higher low, and I'll be watching hourly oversold conditions if that were to take place. And daily EMA 12, which is still a ways away. All right. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon. This is a really fun place to be and hang out during sunset. And I know I'm setting myself up for a huge task of constant seeds just regenerating. But after seeing how many pollinators have been using it, I have to let it see through, clear it out, and use it for the same thing again next fall. 2 years ago, I planted tomatoes in pots on a big deck and they did really well. Last year was the first year doing tomatoes here, and I tried them in pots here and was not pleased at all. Too much blight. And I'm going to transform these into just flowers. I'm going to pull out all these weeds and plant a bunch of flower seeds now that we're heading into the home stretch where frost is not a risk. Berry bushes are incredible with how they can take over an entire area. So you see all the strawberries doing good in their first full year. But this, I cut from this plant, I cut this branch off and just left it, and you can see it has re-rooted into an entirely different plant that I cannot pull out and have to get down into the roots. And if I didn't touch that, it would just completely overtake all of these strawberries. I didn't like the erosion on this exposed back hill when it rained heavily. It creates a little river working its way through here that we've filled in with some rocks, but planted a ton of wildflower seed there. I've been watering it every day over the last week and hoping in the next few weeks this starts to see a bunch of roots take hold and help the soil stay put. 1 week since transplanting all this new stuff. Everything's looking good. I did let it get too dried out one day. This guy's gonna need a bigger trellis soon.